Welcome viewers. This video is basically the review of year 2022 and what we are expecting in 2023. Well, the last year we have seen the net migration figure increase dramatically following the COVID, Brexit, and in last year the overall migration figure is over 1 million migrants. So basically, more than a million migrants arrived in the UK year ended September 2022. And because of the net migration is so high in the last year, so the government is going to tighten the immigration rules, taking different measures, as stated in Rishi Sunak in the House of Commons last month, to reduce the migrant figure of 2023. And remember, the net migrant figure is currently one of the most important political issues where the political party criticized by the other, and therefore the Rishi Sunak, if you want to hold on number 10, then he must reduce the net migration, and therefore he personally now with the Home Secretary working how they can reduce the net migration, and they're targeting many aspects, including spouse visa and other student dependents. So I'll give you a brief idea what we are expecting in 2023. Now, the reason of increasing is basically driven by the Ukrainian refugee, Ukrainian special visa, Hong Kong asylum visa, and also mainly international student, and they're dependent on also skilled worker visa, charity worker visa. Because of this combination of 3 or 5 options, the net migration is going over 1 million, people who came in the UK. Now, over the Christmas, basically, the Home Secretary gave an interview to the Times, and more likely what he preferred, that step she could take is in future to reduce the net migration is the spouses of British citizens, the international students, dependent of international student, shortage occupation, skilled worker visa. So these types of area where they will target to probably tighten immigration rules and so on many steps, as also outlined by the Prime Minister in his speech in number 10. So that is what we are expecting. Now, about the year in 2022, the main three area where three of the leading the immigration issues, immigration policy, mainly outside the Rwanda plan. Now, as you know, the Rwanda future, the last month the High Court has gave his judgment that the Rwanda plan is lawful. Therefore, a green signal for the government that can go ahead the plan to remove the asylum seeker to Rwanda. However, that more likely is another 1 or 2 hearing in the Court of Appeal or the Supreme Court, and even it could go to the European Court of Human Rights. That is a different matter. So the Rwanda plan, and the second one, the UK Border and the Nationality and Border Act 2022, which is also an important legislature came into force, where by this act, there are particularly a couple of provisions which is very important, and one is that this act basically criminalized the asylum seeker who enter UK legally. This is a criminal offense, and the asylum seeker will be prosecuted. So if you come into the UK after the deadline, and if you enter, this is a criminal offense, so you'll be prosecuted at the same time, rather than going to hotel. Probably you will be taken to a police station or face a magistrate court or the Crown Court to commit a criminal offense. Also, under this act, the Home Secretary can deprive someone from their nationality without giving them notice. So this is another important aspect of UK Nationality and Border Act. The third one, basically, what was the leading about, mainly about the asylum seeker, which is the leading part of immigration law, where the last year Rwanda plan, UK Border and Nationality Act, and it's not only last year. I think last couple of years we have seen the increasing amount of migrant asylum seeker who who came to the UK through that channel, crossing the border by dinghy. So this is also one of the important aspect of last year. Government actually struggled to stop the channel crossing, and accordingly prime minister set out his plan for future, because as I said on my earlier, that when the migration goes up, that the net migration goes up, then the government takes step to reduce the net migration, reduce the tighten the immigration rules so that the net migration get reduced. And because if the government is failed to control the net migration, then more likely the prime minister or the home secretary will lose their jobs. So Prime Minister Rishi Sunak set out his plan for future 2023, including the decision-making process is more quicker, double than more immigration enforcement rate, and also some of the steps which he presented in the House of Commons in his own words. So have a look what he said about his plan in 2023, and then we'll discuss more about it.
Much further. Over the last month, the Home Secretary and I have studied every aspect of this issue in detail, and we can now set out 5 new steps today. First, our policing of the Channel has been too fragmented, with different people doing different things, being pulled in different directions. So we will establish a new, permanent, unified Small Boats Operational Command. This will bring together our military, our civilian capabilities, and the National Crime Agency. It will coordinate our intelligence, interception, processing, and enforcement, and use all available technology, including drones for reconnaissance and surveillance, to pick people up and identify and then prosecute more gang-led boat pilots. We're adding more than 700 new staff and also doubling the funding given to the NCA for tackling organized immigration crime in Europe. Second, these extra resources will free up immigration officers to go back to enforcement, which will in turn allow us to increase raids on illegal working by 50%. And it's frankly absurd that today illegal migrants can get bank accounts which help them live and work here. So we will restart data sharing to stop this. Third, it's unfair and appalling that we are spending £5.5 million every day on using hotels to house asylum seekers. We must end this. So we will shortly bring forward a range of alternative sites such as disused holiday parks, former student halls, and surplus military sites. We have already identified locations that could accommodate 10,000 people, are in active discussions to secure these and more. Our aim is to add thousands of places through this type of accommodation in the coming months at half the cost of hotels. At the same time, as we consulted on over the summer, the cheapest and fairest way to solve this problem is for all local authorities to take their fair share of asylum seekers in the private rental sector. And we will work to achieve this as quickly as possible. Fourth, Mr. Speaker, we need to process claims in days or weeks, not months or years. So we will double the number of asylum caseworkers, and we are radically re-engineering the end-to-end process with shorter guidance, fewer interviews, less paperwork, and introducing specialist caseworkers by nationality. We will also remove the gold plating in our modern slavery system, including by reducing the cooling off period from 45 to 30 days, the legal minimum set out in the ECAT Treaty. As a result of all of these changes, we will triple the productivity of our caseworkers, and we expect to abolish the backlog of initial asylum decisions by the end of next year. Fifth, Mr. Speaker, and most significantly, a third of all those arriving in small boats this year, almost 13,000 people, are Albanian. And yet Albania is a safe, prosperous, European country. It is deemed safe for returns by Germany, France, Italy, Sweden. It is an EU accession country, a NATO ally, and a member of the same treaty against trafficking as the United Kingdom. The Prime Minister of Albania has himself said there is no reason why we cannot return Albanian asylum seekers immediately. Last year, Germany, France, Belgium, Sweden, all rejected almost 100% of Albanian asylum claims. Yet our rejection rate is just 45%. That must not continue. So today, I can announce a new agreement with Albania and a new approach.
So this is the Prime Minister plan for 2023. Now, as I said on the earlier, that most of the Home Secretary or the Prime Minister is faced very difficulty to keep their job when the net migration goes up, and this is the top of the talk in the political table. So the Prime Minister present his future for what we are expecting in 2023. That is, of course, the Rwanda plan on the table, the law enforcement action, which is raid, it will be increased double or more as often we'll see in different factory, restaurant or places, home raided by the UKBA border agency. Those migrant who is overstayed doesn't have right to live in the UK, right to stay in the UK, they will be arrested. Probably they will try to send remove from the UK, or they will try to remove in the Rwanda if they're successful. Rwanda plan will try to implement unless we get a different result in the appeal in the Court of Appeal or Supreme Court, or if the European Court of Human Rights interfere or they give a different judgment. So this is the other option. We will see there is a radical changes. There are significant changes in immigration rules in terms of student visa, in terms of dependent of student visa, in terms of spouse visa, in terms of skilled worker visa, in terms of care worker visa, so dependent visa, family visa, just to reduce the net migration. So in 2022, the three areas were leading the immigration. One is Rwanda plan, one is the Nationality and Border Act, and the other one is currently, which is Prime Minister Immigration and Asylum Plan. And the reason is generally the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is directly involved and advising the Home Secretary, and both work together to reduce the net migration. Therefore, we are expecting that there will be a few radical changes, significant changes, and as the Home Secretary team had already briefed one of the newspaper, which is Times, that said that they targeted the spouse visa, international student dependence visa, and the skilled worker visa. So these are the area where they will work to reduce the net migration. And also the Prime Minister plan is a different one, which is basically target the asylum seeker, which is currently a lot of people waiting for the decision, and Home Office can't remove them from the UK until the Home Office make a decision on their asylum claim. So he will double the decision making process. So currently, so far I know 600 it will be 1200, 2400, so that he will put resources to increase the decision making, so that the double decision will be made. So that is that, reduce the backlog of the immigration asylum claim. Also, it will be tightened. Both UK and France will work together to reduce the channel crossing, which basically I'm hearing ages and it doesn't work, but I don't know. But probably let's see what they're targeted. They will reduce the cost for accommodation, hotel, rather than give them hotel, they will use different premises, old student hall, military base. So these are the area where they will work. So we don't know yet. Once they publish the different policy guidelines one by one to reduce the net migration, then we'll see. But that is what we are expecting in 2023. Thank you very much, all of you who watched this video. This is a short video regarding what we have seen, the changes in 2022, and we are expecting 2023.